Welcome back. I'm Sabrina, and today I want to talk to you about Amigurumi and Stuffed Toys. I haven't seen a lot of videos, but maybe I haven't really looked that hard on YouTube about the different stuff that you can use and the different ways to do things. So Amigurumi, I looked up the definition and it says it's a Japanese art of yarn creatures. Ami meaning crocheted or knitted, and Nuigurumi means stuffed doll. So all these right here in front of you, they're all stuffed toys. A couple of them, mostly just these two are my design, but these are all soft toys, and there's also different ways to do them. I also included, you can't see it in the frame, so let's go ahead and pull it. Your choices of yarn and accessories will determine the size of your finished product. Now these are not the same pattern, but they're very comparable. So this one can pretty much, you know, very small. So I just want to go over different things. I made some notes to make sure I cover everything. So one of the first things I want to go over is the yarn. Most of these are all acrylic. This one might be cotton because it's a crochet thread, and usually that's cotton. I'm trying to look, I have a thread here in my hands. Yes, it's mostly cotton. Otherwise, I think everything else is acrylic. I'm going to move this guy down here. Maybe you can see him better down here. Or not. Okay. So most of these are acrylic. And because it's so affordable, that's what I would usually recommend. And it's pretty durable. So all of your Red Heart and Karen. I love this I love this yarn. Yarn Bee. Just pulling a whole bunch of yarn. Lion brand. It's all 100% acrylic that I usually use. So I mean, for a whole skein for like $2-3, you can get a lot of toys out of that. So I use mostly acrylic. You can use cotton, as you saw. That's cotton. And if you have been following the news lately, there are these, this is not an example of one of them, but there are these octos for preemies, and it pretty much kind of looks like that without the face. And those are required to be 100% cotton, and they actually require certain brands of yarn. So if it's just for you, you can choose whatever yarn you want, but if it's part of a project like that, then you're going to have to really pay attention to their requirements. I also have wool. You can use wool. Let's see, do I have any? I don't have any right on hand. I'm filming right in my craft room, that way should anything I need come up, I can go grab it just like this. So I did not make this. A friend of mine made this. This is wool and has been felted. So you can do this with soft toys as well. I use a lot of embroidery floss because you can get all of these for a couple bucks, and I use these a lot. So it depends on the size of your project and the outcome that you desire. The hook size will depend on your size of yarn. So if you're just using this, I would definitely recommend nothing experienced, nothing larger than an F. And, you know, if you're still starting out, I think a G is perfectly fine. The problem with larger hooks is that you have larger gaps between the stitches. So let me show you. I should have used a 10mm on this project, but I used a 12, and you can see there's gaps. But that's also because this is a longer stitch. So like these kind of gaps, the smaller the hook, the smaller these gaps are. The smaller those spaces are. Like I mentioned, the octos for preemies, like an octopus about this size, you're going to have to use a really small hook because they have guidelines on how big those gaps can be. For stuff like your thread and your embroidery floss, you can always experiment with what works. I want to say I usually use a number 2, but I think I've used a 3 and a 5. I can't recall off the top of my head, but those numbers sound familiar. So most of your toys are going to be built on single crochet stitches. So these are single crochet stitches. These are single crochet. Single, single, single. These are all single. This one has doubles right here, but that's to give it its shape. That's to give it that curve right there. So mostly so these are doubles to give it a particular shape and drape. So that will also determine what you want to use. Alright, next on my list I have accessories. So you can buy safety eyes, safety noses, and let's say you can't find any, you can use buttons. And buttons. Safety eyes, grab, reach across. So safety eyes come in various sizes. Those are noses. Just want to grab some. I have some stashed right here. These are some pretty big eyes. So these are 15 millimeter. Sun catchers, these are 12. These ones are the plain black. So I've got these at various stores, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and I also buy some online. Where is my, okay. So I have little organizers, so I wanted to show you this too. So I have these little organizers. So I'm going to pop this open. And you see I have a compartment full of buttons. And then I have these compartments with different sizes of eyes. These are black eyes. These are colored eyes, greens, blues, purples. You can buy those on Amazon. I know there's some Etsy sellers that have pretty good eyes. Let's see. Then we have, these are brown eyes, blue eyes, and green split pupils. And then there's some more sun catcher eyes, some more black eyes. So I'm fully stocked on eyes, as you can see. I'm also fully stocked on buttons, but let me go through the noses real quick. I just saw those. So they have various sizes and textures of noses out there as well. I got these from Joann's, and you can get the ones with like nostrils and texture on the front. You can probably buy those on Amazon. I haven't really looked. I don't really use noses. What else do I have on my list? Gems. I made a mess on the floor. So I just glued these gems as eyes. I got these gems in a set from Michaels. Those are, I don't know where those are. Where that set is. Thread. So I used crochet thread to make a mouth. You can see she has eyelashes. Just some different embroidery that you may want. So you can use either crochet thread, or you can use, I use these a lot. What else? Alright, next I have is interior. So what are you going to stuff your toys with? I usually use Poly-Fil. And you can get that from any craft store. I get mine from Walmart. You can get it from Hobby Lobby, Michaels, Joann's. I've also seen people and heard of people stuffing them with the plastic bags. Like if you have 1,000 of these and you don't mind if it makes a little noise when it moves, you can stuff it with your plastic bags. Rice. So you can weight down your amis with rice. This package is not open. Like, let's say door stops or something that you need to have extra weight. You can either crochet around something like a can and fill the can with something, or you can fill it with rice. Now you're thinking the rice is going to fall through the stitches. You are correct. But I can't find the ones I actually use. So I buy this box of Everyday. So I have I think they're called ankle highs. These are knee highs. So you just go ahead and fill these with whatever, with your rice or whatever that's not going to get through, and then you just tie it off and stuff into your toy. That's what I did with this one. That's why you can't see the stuffing coming out, because it's in a, I think this is an ankle high. I think that's what they're called. Just that way the threads aren't coming out, because you'll see the threads coming from the Poly-Fil come out. So that's what you can stuff it with and how you can stuff it. Securing I have is the next thing. Okay, so you're gonna, when you do these toys, you're gonna have multiple parts. So this one is 2 legs, 2 arms, a body, and a head. So you're gonna have to sew the head to the body unless it's been crocheted that way. And I can't remember. I know I made the pattern, but this has been a long time ago. Anyways, you would sew it there. You would sew it here and here. You would sew them together. So you'll need a needle, and you can either sew it together with the color of the yarn that you are using, or you can use thread. Depends on how you want to secure the different parts together. Edges, so let's see. I don't have anything on here. Let's say you don't want something to come undone. You can go ahead and secure it with a little bit of a dab of glue, or even a dab of nail polish. Just dab it right on top, and that should secure your ends for you. Additions. So, do I have anything here? You can't see it on the dolls, but I think you can see it on this. So I put it in this case so it doesn't get dusty. You see, there's a little tint of pink on this mouse's cheeks. You achieve that simply with blush. You don't have to have expensive blush. It could be any blush that you probably don't use anymore, or it could be the dollar blush that I got several years ago, and I use this on pretty much all of my amis. I also have different eyeshadow to do different kind of shadings. So pink eyeshadows work as blush as well, and that's super easy. Puff paint. So I have a collection of puff paint. I have black, and I have white, I have orange. It just depends on what you're using, and I don't think I have anything on hand right now that has puff paint, but that could be a nice little cheat. Dye. So if you want to dye your yarn beforehand, there's some dye for different types of yarn. You can use the tie dye on your cotton yarns if there's a certain color or variation that you want to see. Stitch markers, which is what you'll be moving from row to row to row, and then counting along with, so that way you know where you are in your project. Do I have any on hand? I should have several on hand. So I have these stitch markers. I don't really like these. I have these stitch markers, which I really haven't used. And then I have ones that look like little locks. I can't see any at the moment right here on my mess on the floor. I don't see any. But you'll be using stitch markers to go from row to row and your counter to count with you. Patterns, so I wanted to show you real quick. The big octopus, this big purple one, which I substituted with my own yarn and hook, came from this book. So books are a great way to get your patterns. Magazines. I also have a note that says go to your local library. They could have something. Mine has some good books. They're mostly knitting, but and then there's the online. So that was this pattern is this guy right here. So what else? There was something else and it flew right through my mind. You can always alter patterns. I think these wings were attached differently in the pattern and I attached them a different way because I liked it that way. Buttons. I got this case in the section with collector, like for you to keep. Here we go. I found the ankle highs. Here they are. I use these. I also use felt. You can use felt for the different features on your doll or any of your toys. Like you could probably put the inside of his mouth with the felt instead of sewing or embroidering something on there. I also use this. I believe this is tulle, the glitter tulle, and that's what I used for her skirt right here. And I just sewed a couple of different layers. Let's see, what else do I have? I'm gonna put that away. I have Floral Wire, which I originally used for the balloons, to keep the balloons. But no, those are glued on a background. But you also can use this inside arms and legs to make them posable, as you would with, I call them pipe cleaners. They're called something else. They're called chenille something. Well, we've always called them pipe cleaners. Your yarn will determine the texture of your product. So as you see, your cotton yarn, your chunky acrylic, your printed or multicolored variegated yarn, which is what I used for this guy. Your super chunky. So don't let something like burnout blanket keep you from using this as for a soft toy. These are perfect for soft toys. I just made a dog, a large dog, out of this stuff, and it's very cuddly. Here's the fun fur or eyelash. So this can be kind of hard to use. I used this, not this particular one, but something similar for hedgehogs, and it came out really neat. To make it easier to use, you just pair it with, I just paired it with a red heart yarn. Okay. What else? Am I missing something? Looking at the mess on my floor. Also, I want to, let's see, do I have any? Okay, here. I want to warn you right offhand that safety eyes, I don't know about the noses, I'm sure it goes for noses as well. These safety eyes, I think these ones in particular are easy to use, but they can be extremely hard to use. So I'm not going to put on because it's irreversible, usually. This one actually doesn't look like that, but some of these do not go on to the prongs very well. So you're going to have to have somebody either with a stronger grip, or I have done, what did I do? I think on one of them it was extremely hard. I couldn't get it through. It wasn't one of the, it was very similar backing, but I had to stretch this inner circle a little bit to get the post through. So these can be extremely difficult to be put on, just so you're aware. Buttons, embroidery, eyeshadow, buttons, Crochet I Cords are really good. They can give you nice legs and stuff. So this is actually a knitted I cord. Super easy. These little arms weren't in the pattern, so I just braided them together. So you can just use your imagination, whatever feels right. Don't be afraid to modify a pattern to your liking. That's why it's there. I get all these button collective things from Hobby Lobby and Michael's. So always have something on hand, as you can see. And I think a covered patterns, where to find them: Ravelry, books, magazines. Try your local library. Always check YouTube for other YouTubers who do an excellent job of showing you the single crochets, the double crochets, and all that jazz. So that's all I have on my list today. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to talking to you guys next time. So thanks for watching. Bye.